Call the meeting to order, and let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, before we get started, I just read this appeal of decisions to you. Pursuant to the provisions of 2.68.030 of the Metropolitan Code of Codes, please take notice that decisions of the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation may be appealed to the Chancery Court of Davidson County for review under a common law writ of certiorari. Any appeal must be filed within 60 days after entry of a final decision by the board. Any person or entity considering an appeal should consult an attorney to ensure that time and procedural requirements are met. Next, we're going to move on to consideration of minutes. Do I have a motion on?
Move approval.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Then we've got here, do we have people? I see one Metro councilman here. Do you have anything?
I'm just visiting. Thank you.
Councilman Cooper, is anybody, have I missed anybody else? All right, moving on then. First of all, we've got old business 07-18-02. Belmont University requests board approval of Amendment 3 to the existing lease agreement between Metro government through Metro Parks with Belmont University for property improvement of the addition of an 80 by 135-foot indoor batting facility to be constructed in a different location in E.S. Rose Park than previously approved. And it's my understanding that this is going to be deferred.
Yes, Councilman Sledge has requested the board defer this to the next meeting.
Do I have a motion on deferral on it?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so be it. Moving on to the second piece of old business, 07-18-05. Staff requests approval of an amendment to the White Creek Greenway conservation easement between Metro government and Johnny Ingram, and approval of an amendment to an existing White Creek's license agreement between TDOT and Metro government in order to accommodate a project to be undertaken by the state of Tennessee to improve a bridge over White's Creek that also passes over the White Creek Greenway. And I'm going to defer to Jeff.
The acquisitions committee met previously and recommends approval of this unanimously.
So you need a motion? Yeah, okay. Well, I move that we accept the acquisition committee's recommendation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so be it. I don't see anything on the consent agenda, so we can move right on to new business.
Consent agenda.
Yeah, I need a motion on the consent agenda if I
So
could.
moved to accept the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so be it. Moving on to new business. 08-18-02, Mr. Scott Taggart, representing the West Nashville Sports League, requests board approval for the following improvements to the baseball field area in Edward Warner Park. And this is WNSL is funding the improvements and will be gifted to the Metro Parks upon completion. A small portion of the cover grill area adjacent to the concession stand, the black perimeter fence and gates at the 3 baseball fields, an addition of a batting cage and improvements of new netting, fencing, and shade structure over the existing cage. And Scott, you're here.
Mentally and physically.
All right.
More physically than mentally.
I always check with him because he generally is flying in from somewhere. He's
Came back just for you, Stan.
Okay, thank you, Scott.
I come bearing gifts, try to work with the Parks Department and making improvements of the baseball field area out there at Warner Park. We have, in the springtime, 1,200 baseball players and tournaments and kids going on in the fall. We have more fall baseball and then flag football, about 1,100 or 1,200 kids playing. A lot of families and so forth, a lot of activity going on. And the grill area, we just need to put a little pavilion area covering over the grill area near the concession stand is one improvement. The fencing along the perimeter will help keep out some of the riffraff that's going on, some silliness that's going on after hours, some theft and dog businesses and different things like that. But and the third thing is a batting cage. We need to enlarge the batting cage and put some new fencing cage work around that. So it's costly, but we've saved the money. We're willing to do the work and put the effort in. And I've worked with, talked to Rick and all the maintenance guys about all this. So hopefully it'll be approved and we can get this done in the next few months and gift it back to the parks.
Is there anybody on staff that needs to comment on it?
Staff recommend approval.
Okay. Do I have a motion on that?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You ready to go, Scott?
Thank you so much.
I tell you, I've been out there before. I tell you, to see as many kids that y'all have out there during the summer is unbelievable.
Well, we appreciate the partnership with, I think we've worked with 4 directors now, and Monique has taken the lead, and we really appreciate her leadership. So thank you very much.
Thank you for what you do.
One little update about the Miracle Field. We're moving forward with the Miracle Field, Miracle League out there for the
That'll
special
that'll
needs
bring it all
baseball.
together out there, right?
All together, yes, sir.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right, moving along, 08-18-03, staff requests board approval to add a temporary surcharge of 50 cents to each Parthenon admission during the display of the Reimaging America exhibit.
Staff recommend approval, but Wesley Payne, I'm sorry. Wesley Payne from the Parthenon is here to give us some more information.
Do you have questions?
Would you tell us a little bit about
Okay, it is, the exhibit is one developed by Susan Shockley and Mark Medley, our curator and assistant curator. They invited 7 local artists, emerging artists. They have some reputation already, but haven't hit the big time yet, to select paintings from our Cowan collection to deconstruct, reconstruct, to make their own response to, in their own styles, and the 2 pieces, the Cowan piece and the new piece, will be exhibited together. And there'll be a catalog created with some reflection on the relevance still of these paintings from the 19th and early 20th century and alongside the new pieces. So we think that it's going to be interesting, beautiful, and educational, but it's expensive. So this money would cover the costs of producing the exhibit and the catalog.
Any questions?
How long will the
exhibit will be up from mid-September through mid-January, roughly.
And then it would assist at that time, the 50 cents would stop at that time?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, it'll stop early if we cover the costs early, if our attendance is such that we feel confident that we'll have enough attendance during the time of the exhibit to cover the costs.
And we work with the Metro Finance Department to make sure everything is okay by them, and they support this too.
Have a
I'll
motion
move
on?
that we accept this, that we approve this.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. All right, moving on along, 08-18-04, staff requests board approval to accept a land donation of approximately 8 acres located at 0 Edmondson Pike, map number 172-00, parcel number 009.00, for a future neighborhood park and expansion of 7 Mile Creek Greenway. This, we would have to defer, would we not?
Yes.
Yes, just one comment for the record. That property has been assigned an address now, and it's 6030 Cloverland Drive. The parcel remains the same.
Did you say Cloverland?
Cloverland.
My subdivision is
It's located at the intersection of Cloverland and Evanston.
Well, this one, we would have to defer this to the acquisition committee, so do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Sorry.
moving on along. All right, 08-18-05, board to approve open range salary increase for the Director of Parks as per 2018-19 Metropolitan Government Pay Plan.
I move that we approve this.
Second.
Have a second?
She seconded.
Oh, I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay. We've got next special presentations, the Friends of Shelby Park.
Before we do that.
Oh, wait, excuse me.
Tim is going to introduce a new employee. Tim,
Tim, I'm sorry.
introduce,
You have somebody you want to introduce?
Oh, yes, if I could, we've got a
Yeah.
new planner on staff at last. I'd like to introduce Amrita Chatterjee. She is an architect and an urban planner, and we're thrilled to have her on board and to help us keep building some great parks.
yay, welcome.
All right, welcome. All right. What have we got here now? All right, the Friends of Shelby Park to present their annual update to the board. I don't know who all we've got here for that, but welcome.
Thank you.
It's all yours.
Thanks for having us today. My name is Paul Hoffman. I am the current president of Friends of Shelby Park. I've been on the board since 2012, and this is my first year as president and also my last year since I'm term limited out as of the end of the year. So my colleague over here, Katie Burris, is our current vice president, and she'll be hopefully, fingers crossed, rolling into president next year. So, as you know, Friends of Shelby Park, super park, dynamic, lots of different uses. It's an exciting time. We see people all over the place. The uses are increasing. We see more people out in the park every day. So it's a fantastic time for this park in particular. So we're excited to talk about it. So our Friends Group, we were founded in 2008 with the mission to preserve, protect, enhance the stewardship of Shelby Park and Bottom. So that's about 1,300 acres along Davidson, from Davidson Street out past Cornelia Fort along the river. Today I just wanted to talk about a few things in terms of strategic planning for our board, our events that we're doing, volunteer and partner projects, as well as some next steps, some advice that I'd like to seek from y'all. In terms of strategic planning, 2018 has been a year of change for Friends of Shelby Park. We have been thinking a lot more about alignment, in terms of how are we looking at bigger goals for the park system. The community is changing. How are we addressing those? So in February, we had a strategic planning meeting to align our activities with the newly defined goals for this year. In October, we'll be focusing on drafting a new 3-year strategic plan. So we'll have a little bit more thought put into what the next 3 years look like for our organization. In terms of development with our board, we've got a number of folks who are terming out this year. So there is, we are doing board recruitment. We are recruiting several new board members. We've got 2 that have joined us already this year, and we're having another 4 join us as of this meeting tomorrow. We've broken into subcommittees to really spread out that working knowledge of the park and have a little bit more engagement across the board. And those are focused on, general events, our membership and communication strategies, as well as big events like our Cornelia Fort pick-and parties. So our new focus is on new members who are enthusiastic about our mission and also bring some technical skills to the board so we can reach more neighbors and do more things. In terms of community visibility, we're looking at improved technology. So this year we've updated our website. We've been more active in our email to our constituents, and also grown our social media presence. We're conducting quite a bit of outreach through community groups, neighborhood associations, and also peer learning with organizations like, we're doing Night Out Against Crime tonight. We're doing a lot of partnerships like that. In addition, we're also partnering with other organizations that utilize the park. So just this weekend, we were a co-sponsor of the Golden Pheasant Triathlon in Shelby Park. So it was his first year, and it worked with Cumberland Kayak and also Walk Bike Nashville. So we're looking at how do we build those partnerships to engage more folks in the park. And finally, fundraising is the final strategic planning item that we're looking at. And that's really rethinking membership levels. How do we leverage events like the Big Payback? And also how do we diversify how we're raising private capital for the parks? So the next slide, events, what everyone is always excited about. We've got a number of large events that go on in the park. This year is our 4th season of the Cornelia Fort Pick-and Parties. So it's a 4-part kind of music festival, neighborhood festival in Cornelia Fort. And the money we raise there, July, August, September, October of this year, all stays in that area of the park to really I guess, to really support the renovation and management of those facilities. So we had July was our first event this year, and it was, I'm happy to say, the most successful event we've had in our 4-year run. So great time seeing families with their kids out there, learning how to ride bikes, enjoying music, taking advantage of that area of the park. This is also our 11th year as a beneficiary of the Hot Chicken Festival. So we have 5 of our board members dedicate a lot of time in the first half of the year to getting this program up and running. And as you all know, the Hot Chicken Festival is pretty popular on 4th of July. It's a great way to spend your time. And so we're happy to be part of that. In terms of volunteer and educational events, this October we've got some cleanup scheduled following our pick and parties, making sure we leave the park the way we found it. We are working with the Nature Center on greenways bike rides, community bike rides, getting people out exploring the greenways and understanding the connectivity between the parks, and also looking at engaging our community with the natural environment. We've done some programs around beehives that we've installed in the park and educating the community on kind of the whole process of installing and managing beehives in the system. And once again, partner events, the Golden Pheasant Triathlon was a big success this weekend. Night Out Against Crime, we'll see it tonight. And then also we are supporting East Nashville Little League and their use of the park space. In terms of projects that are ongoing, we continue to support the Shelby Park Nature Center and their staff, supporting staff education at about $3,000 a year for those folks to be able to continue to learn. We're supporting them with supplies. So we're in the middle of a wildflower project, which not only includes seeds, but planting equipment like a cultivator, aerator, tiller, those kinds of small purchases that can really go a long way in that area of the park. We're looking at education, so we're reprinting a junior naturalist activity booklet, and as well as planning out a children's trail booklet so they can have a story that narrates kind of a walk through the trails at Shelby Park. And finally, as you all know, some of the signage in Shelby Park is original. So we're working with them to identify ongoing signage needs, maps, trailway markers, that sort of thing. In Cornelia Fort, I mentioned the beehives and bee fence that we put in. So now we have 6 hives on site, and that's fun to get that honey and share that with our neighbors. We're also currently in the middle of a secure storage facility. So we're building out some secure storage opportunities so we can keep all of our stuff secure down there. We've recently installed a new water fountain, dog water fountain as well at Shelby Park Community Center. Supported East Nashville Little League with field repairs and scholarships for their players. And I think looking forward, what's going to come out of the strategic planning meetings is how do we plan for larger capital campaigns. Things like a boardwalk around Lake Sevier, pedestrian improvements at the Davidson Street entrance, and ongoing building repairs and beautification, as well as a playground in Cornelia Fort. Those are all items that have been identified by our community beyond our board as needs, wants for the park. And so if you go to the last slide, what I'd like to leave with is how do we as a board work better with the Parks Board to be better stewards of the park, and how do we leverage the private funds that we're raising with the public budget to really move the needle on projects that are meaningful, not only to the park but to the community. So I'd love to have ongoing conversations with all of you about that. So you can keep in touch with us at francisshelby.org. You can learn more about our pick and parties at corneliafortpickandparty.org, or just email me at the info at francisshelby.org. So thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.
Great report. Make sure you keep strong board members like yourself.
Well, Katie is great. She's great. She's great. You'll hear from her next year. But no, we have a great board, and we are, like I said, we're really focused on not just people who are enthusiastic in the mission, who use the park, but also bring a lot of technical skill to what we do. So we're excited about the years to come.
Well, congratulations. You've got a great park out there.
Yeah, we love it.
So I do have a question, and thank you for all the hard work that you guys are doing to make Shelby Park even more awesome. But I loved your strategic questions at the end, and wondered how you are communicating and working with park staff to align your enthusiasm with need and just
Sure,
curious
yeah,
about how
I
that's
mean,
happening now and what you
right-
would hope to see.
Sure. Right now, we work a lot with Rebecca Ratz, and she's been a great contact for us. And I think the question is open-ended, right? I mean, we're willing to come and be more of a visible presence here at these meetings, to build relationships with not just folks who are employed at the park, but also board members. So it's an evolving kind of answer, I guess, is what I would say. I don't know. Do you have anything to add to that?
No,
Cynthia?
just as Paul said, I mean, we're a volunteer board, and we're
Sure.
looking to tap each of our board members and figure out where they align with the needs that we have moving forward, so that we remain visible to parks. But as Paul said, we are really looking to capture what the best way of us leveraging those funds against the budget, especially in the budget circumstance that we're in now. How can we make what we have go the longest way to deliver what our community wants and needs from our park? So we're, I would
So
say
that's a
we're
lot of
beginning to-
dialogue that's needed
Yeah.
and a lot of
It's building those relationships and forming the strategic committee within our board to make that an ongoing conversation, to ensure that even as we may change our head count with people rolling off of our board, that we keep those conversations going forward.
And you have a good relationship, if I may say, so with your councilman, I think, Brett Withers. He's very
He's been a good
supportive.
Yes.
He is a very good
Yes.
advocate for you. And I've spoken with him a number of times.
Yes,
about
we keep him
friendship.
informed on all the things
Yes, you
going on
do.
in the park. So yeah, he's certainly a great advocate for the park as well. And
Yeah, well, I just think it's wonderful that you're thinking in terms of partnership instead of, we want to do this, and maybe,
Sure.
so I commend you for that.
we love putting in water fountains and bringing those kinds of
Sure.
benefits to the park, but thinking bigger about what we're doing is, I think, where our board is looking to go in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
The good news is, even though I'm rolling off, Katie is going to be on the board for a number of years, so you have that to look forward to.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Great report.
Thanks.
All right, moving on along, we've got another group, the Nashville Steam Preservation Society, to present progress report to the board. And I'm anxious to hear this because I was amazed you were able to move that locomotive out of the park.
Well, it hadn't moved yet, but it's.
Well, I know, but you're getting
it's
ready
gonna
to move.
So
And I want you to tell us a little bit how you're going to move it.
we're going to show you a picture of it,
All
actually.
right, great.
As a quick introduction, my name is Bill Ozier. For 48 years, I practiced law with Bassberry and Sims here in Nashville. I'm a native Nashvilleian. On my mother's side, at least third generation, and I've got two more generations that I've produced, so we've been here a long time. When I retired, I was looking around for something to do to keep myself occupied, and I came across the Nashville Steam Preservation Society. So I came down to the park and volunteered, and they said, gosh, as a lawyer, do you know how to weld? I said, no, I don't know how to weld, and I don't know how to use an acetylene torch, but I do know which end of a wrench to hold, and I know what a screwdriver does, and said, you can hopefully find something for me to do. So they suggested, well, why don't you help us do some presentations? So I said, well, that's something I can do. As a lawyer, I've been standing on my feet talking to people for a long time, so I can do that. So I started doing some research into the engine itself and the nc&stl. Joy Bryan, who's here with me today to help out, is the historian for the site. He put a lot of this together. And one of the first things I did, one of my son-in-laws gave me Stephen Ambrose's book, Nothing Like It in the World, which is an account of the building of the Transcontinental Railroad in the late 1860s, which is an amazing story, actually. And in the preface to that book, Mr. Ambrose recounts the Union Pacific Railroad put together an excursion train to show him the actual route of the railroad. It still runs pretty much on the same route that was built in the 1860s. And it was pulled by one of their steam engines, number 844, which is basically identical to our engine here, 576. It's a little bit larger, but it's the same configuration of 484. And Mr. Ambrose was amazed. They publicized the route that this train was going to take, and every little town they went through, every highway that paralleled the railroad, there were mobs of people out there to take pictures and to just to see the engine. So he was pretty excited and said, as he mentions here, he said their curiosity and involvement was stunning. And we had a little video, but we cut out for time's sake, showing the engine pulling into this little station, and the excitement among the people is pretty impressive. So that's what we hope to recreate with 576 when we get it running again. The Nashville Steam Preservation Society was formed in 2016 as a nonprofit organization to start raising the money and put together people who knew what they were doing to actually start working on the engine, and we're moving along with progress. 576 was built in 1942 by the American Locomotive Company. It was one of the last round of steam engines built. There were a few more ordered the next year by nc&stl and a few more built in 1944, but it was pretty much state of the art for a steam locomotive. The steam locomotive started back in the 1840s, and they didn't make much progress until after World War I, and then they started adding things to make them more efficient, more powerful, and to comply, although they didn't really have smog standards back then, to start doing some things to help that. This is actually a sister engine, but that's what the engine looked like when it rolled off the assembly line up in Schenectady, New York in 1942. The nc&stl had actually made the decision to start converting to diesel engines, but with the war broke out, they couldn't get diesel engines, so they ordered another round of steam engines, and the 576 was one of those. It was in service only 10 years, from 1942 to 1952, but with the war effort and a lot of the training bases for the military located in the southeast and a lot of materials being moved through the southeast, it logged over 750,000 miles in those 10 years. It was a dual-purpose locomotive. It was fast enough to pull passenger engines. In fact, some of the engineers said they had actually seen 100 miles an hour in the engine, although it didn't run that fast very often, but it was also strong enough to pull freight trains up over Mount Eagle Mountain down into Chattanooga and on to Atlanta. It was placed in the deadline in 1952. All the other engines that were still in service were scrapped. They got $8,000 a piece for them from just the metal and the steel of the engines. There were a group of local leaders, including the president of the nc&stl, a man named Stoney Phelps, who was actually the councilman for the old 4th Ward, which included, I think, this area. Edwin Crutcher was chairman of the Parks Board at that time, and Baskin Jones was a commissioner, and the mayor, Ben West, got together, and the railroad said, okay, if you want it, we'll give you the engine. And they built a little spur track, as you can see in this picture. The actual roundhouse for the nc&stl was right behind where the HCA offices are located right now. We had a picture on the map of another presentation that shows it, but they moved it over into the park with a switch engine, and it's still the roller bearings that were incorporated in this engine. The switch engine had trouble holding it as it rolled down. There's a little slight grade moving down into where it is now, but that's where it's been since 1953. There's a picture of it in 1957. The shed that's over it now didn't get erected until about 20 years ago, so it sat out in the open for a long time. They put a fence up to kind of keep the vandals from getting up and taking things off of it. Surprisingly, they didn't steal as much off of it as they would have today with the gauges and brass lines and things, but it survived other than the elements for a long time. The Steam Preservation Society, it intends to rebuild the engine and get it in operating condition. They partnered up with the Tennessee Central Railroad Museum, which is located out off of Hermitage, where the MTA garages are, and put it back into operation, pulling trains up to Lebanon, Watertown, and eventually all the way on to Cookeville and to Monterey. They also hope to initiate the trains from the foot of Broadway, where the Music City Star station is. And actually, there will be a tremendous amount of tourist interest in this sort of engine. People just come to see a steam engine, and so we're looking forward to that. There's also an educational aspect of this, and we're working with some foundations now to put together programs after we get the engine relocated and the real serious work begins on it, to partner up with the public schools and also the vocational schools. There's a lot of welding, plumbing, painting, a lot of things that are practical skills that will be involved in that process. So we will use the engine to do that. Here's a more recent picture of a couple of years ago, and then there's one even just this year where there was an open house. They manufactured some steam, not from the actual engine itself, but to make it look like what it would look like pulling into a station. A lot of the components on the engine have been removed. Anything that could be taken off and worked on remotely has been done. The air compressors, pumps, the headlight, the bell, a lot of things were removed to get ready for the move. The cylinders were pulled out of the pistons were pulled out of the cylinders. But there has been a lot of community engagement. There's Joey right there, I think, holding his hand up. In the work sessions, we do work sessions every other Friday and Saturday, and it's amazing how many people just come over and start talking to you about what's going on. I've talked to some young kids of college age, one boy in particular who seemed to know an awful lot about steam engines, and I found out he had worked on a project up in Michigan every summer he was in high school, so he had learned a lot about steam engines and the process. So we've had a couple of open houses. The first one in 2016 drew about 500 people. The one this year drew about 1,000 people without a lot of publicity. People just came to look at it, and it's still just static. And once we get it where it's actually got a steam in the fire in the boiler and steam coming out, ready to move it, it'll be even more exciting to see. That's some more seen from the open house from this year. We're now in the second phase. The agreement the NSPS made with the city, basically the city leased the engine to the National Steam Preservation Society for 99 years. The requirement was that we raise $500,000 in cash, not in in-kind gifts, before it could be moved out of the park. And we're approaching that. We're getting closer by the day. So we're now in the rebating phase. There's a lot of work being done on it. Jeff Brisendine, who's on the board, was a plumber. He's now a financial advisor, but there are a lot of folks that have worked on engines before. Sean Metter, who is the president of the society, has helped rebuild 3 engines down in Chattanooga and 1 over in North Carolina. There are a couple of other members who have rebuilt other locomotives, so that we have some people who actually do know what they're doing. And Sean is actually qualified to run the engine. That was one of the first questions I asked, is that who knows how to run one of these engines, because they're a lot more complicated than a diesel engine, where you just basically start the diesel, which powers the generators that run the drive wheels. So it's more complicated to run a steam engine. So the work, these are just some pictures of the work that's being done. That shows the motor being taken out of the tender that drove the screw that fed the coal into the firebox. There's the inspection being done on the firebox. There's the stoker screw being removed from the tender, and there's the big piston being taken out of the cylinder on the drive cylinders. So there's the gauges in the cab. One of the Centennial Park residents was in there giving it a close inspection. Those have all been removed and have been rebuilt. That's what they looked like before, and here's what they look like now. So it's amazing that some of those things can be restored to that extent. And here's the video of the actual move that we anticipate. This is a big trailer with multiple wheels, almost like a centipede, and they pick it up, and this is an engine that's not quite as big. This engine weighs about 450,000 pounds without the tender, so it's a pretty big chunk of metal, but there's machinery that gets moved that's by this method, and so that's what will work, and hopefully the video is going to start here in just a second. Okay. Well, anyhow, this trailer is pulled by a big tractor, and it's got, as you can see, multiple wheels. It doesn't have to go very far. It's too bad it couldn't put a track back over there to the CSS tracks, but somehow HCA didn't really want a track running through their property, and even if it's for a short period of time. So it has to go out into North Nashville, about a mile from the park, where it can go back on the old Tennessee Central tracks, and then CSX will push it from there around through downtown, and we probably will try to do some kind of an event at Union Station as it goes by, have people come down and see it on its way out to where it'll be for the next year or two as the renovation project continues. We have to construct a project or a shed out at the Tennessee Central Museum. At first they didn't think that this shed could be moved, but now I think we figured out that it can be, which will save some money and also some time to transport it out there and re-erect it. It'll be enclosed once it gets out there so that work can continue year-round. We've developed a lot of support locally. A number of foundations have provided financial support, a lot of individual donors, anybody from, a dollar just coming by, looking at the engine in the park, to people who have contributed significant amounts. We have a lot of local corporate sponsors that have contributed either materials or equipment to the process. There is a lot of plumbing involved. The steam engine has lots of valves and gauges and pipes. The regional support, we've got the unanimous approval from the Parks Board, the Convention Tourism Public Entertainment Committee, the Nashville CVC, Conservancy for Parthenon, the Nashville and Eastern Rail Authority. The engine will actually run on the Nashville and Eastern tracks, Historic Nashville, and then the nc&stl Preservation Society. Over 8,000 volunteer hours logged to date, including about 2,000, or in addition, 2,000 hours of fundraising, administrative work. We've had a lot of local coverage. Tennessee Crossroads did a little segment actually with Dr. Jack Fisher, who's a plastic surgeon at Vanderbilt, has the most incredible model train layout that you can ever imagine. They did a feature on him, but they came down to the engine. Jack's on the board, and it did some, but they recently filmed another segment that hopefully was going to air sometime late summer, maybe into September. So it'll be coming up soon. And Joey, again, been a spokesperson, since he is very knowledgeable and even has a model of this engine in his collection. So we're getting very close. These figures were accurate as of the last week, but there have been a couple more moves. The actual numbers, we're getting very close to, we're at 416,000, a little bit more, with several more commitments that have been made. One pledge was actually upped very recently, so we're getting much closer, and we really feel like we will be able to make the move this fall. We've already started meeting with the CSX Railroad, and we're negotiating with the movers for the actual move itself. As I mentioned, the going away party is scheduled tentatively for October 27th. I think we're on the calendar for the park, so we can actually have hopefully maybe the whole park devoted to that. And then the engine will get moved after that sometime late in the year or early 2019. Is this one going to load? Yeah, we have one more. We had a little short video that's actually on the website. I wish we could have gotten that to play, because it's really well done. If you get a chance to look on the website, it talks about the fact that this is one of Nashville's acts that deserves an encore. It's not down on Lower Broad, but it's been here in the park for a long time. I tell people that the engine's only 2 years older than I am, so I can remember riding on trains that were actually pulled by steam engines. So not many, but it's a lot of Nashville kids grew up playing on it, and a lot of people have taken their kids and their grandkids. So it's a great project. It's worth preserving, and we're excited about the prospects.
Thank you for being with us today. Great report. All right, folks, let's do this real quickly. We've got a couple of things we need to do. Tim, could you give us a kind of an update on?
Sure. I'll just mention projects that have changed. Antioch Community Center renovation, that design is now complete, and it's in the queue at purchasing for construction bidding. We've been told by purchasing that projects now may take up to 120 days before they get to the front of the line, before they actually start bidding. So it may be a while before that's actually bid for construction, but design is done. The Red Caboose Playground replacement in Bellevue Park, design is complete on that. Council Lady Weiner is hoping to secure some additional funding in FY19, so that is on hold for now, because we need to know what our budget is before we start to push dirt. Jefferson Street Park, design work is underway on that, and the first public meeting will be on August 28th at 6 p.m. at Hadley Community Center. This is an incredible opportunity to have a presence on Jefferson Street. It's a really exciting project, so it would be great if any of you guys were able to make it to that. Monique asked me to give a little bit of detail on Tony Rose Park. This is the park where almost a year ago, you all approved a deal with Panettone Development to allow them to do some staging in the park in exchange for some improvements in the park. That design work is now about 90% complete. We're meeting again with representatives from the community tomorrow to go over those plans. They are on schedule for all of their staging to be out of the park in September, and they've indicated that all of the actual park improvements work can be done in October. We have also connected them with Oasis Center, so they are hiring Oasis Center to help manage a community art project in the cul-de-sac, the dead ends in the park. Public Works, as far as I know, unprecedented, is actually allowing us to close that cul-de-sac, which encroaches into the park. So right now it's a barrier in the middle of that small park, and it's going to actually become a play space. So that'll be a opportunity for kids from Easley Community Center and Rose Park and others to participate in actually creating the park on that asphalt surface. And you each have 4 ounces of pure gold Centennial Park honey. Several years ago, we entered into a partnership with the Nashville Area Beekeepers Association to manage beehives on the island in Lake Watauga. It's no small undertaking. They have to get into a boat to get out there to actually maintain the hives. This is the first year there's been a harvest. So it's a great partnership. Wanted you guys to enjoy some of it.
Thank you.
Great.
Absolutely. It's fantastic.
I love honey.
Anybody else have anything they need to add, Jim? Anybody? All right. Moving along to Jackie, upcoming events.
Well, I want to thank you all. We had a very busy July. In fact, we had we had an event practically every weekend in July. Last weekend was our break, and we're getting ready to go for it again with an event almost every weekend in August. So coming up on Friday, 3 p.m., August 10th, the USTA Tennis will unveil the improvements of the outdoor courts at Hadley Park. The renovations to the court were funded by a grant from the USTA. So they will be honoring that and informing the community about that again at 3 p.m. on Friday, August 10th. Then the very next day, Saturday, August 11th at 10 a.m., we have the long-awaited grand opening of Asafran Park. There are a number of events that are going to be planned throughout the course of the day on that Saturday, but we're really excited about it, and we know that the people in that community are as well. Then, on Saturday, August 18th at 2 p.m., we have the ribbon cutting and the reopening of West Park. The mayor is scheduled to be there along with Councilwoman Mary Carolyn Roberts. We have other events that are also listed on our website. Just to run through just a couple, we have the Cornelia Fort Pickin' Party at 6 p.m. at Cornelia Fort on August 18th. And then on the 24th, we have the Full Moon Pickin' Party, 6 p.m., the equestrian area at Percy Warner Park.
Well, I'm going to just add, if I could, several of us were at Smith Springs for the opening of that community center, and it was absolutely awesome. It was hot.
It was hot.
It was hot.
It was hot.
And I kept saying, are we going to move inside like we did when we went to Hadley Park in Hadley Park, we moved inside. Yes. And I kept saying, are they going to move us in? They didn't. So, but it was great. I mean, it was a huge turnout. And then lastly, I had to go because just out of curiosity, I went out here to the end of McGavock Pike, I guess, last week for basically the opening of the Port of Nashville, I think is what they're going to. And you couldn't believe the number of people out there on paddle boards and kayaks. The paddle boards is what really got me because off they went down the river after we had the ribbon cutting, and the mayor was at all 3 of these events that we mentioned. And I didn't realize it was 5 miles from that point down to downtown Nashville. So they had a ways to go. But everybody got launched, and now that's open for, I guess, I don't know, do you have to have any type of permit to get in there to use that?
Right now, we're just using non-motorized vehicles, and there's Blueway rules, standard rules of the river, but.
All right, great report. Anything on the department update?
I'm going to yield to Wayne Evans. I think John Holmes is not with us today, and Wayne is here in his stead. At your places, you have the annual facility use report for ES Rose Park, and you can review that at your leisure. It is a requirement for us to produce this report annually as a part of the contract with, as part of the lease contract with Metro and Belmont. Wayne played a primary role in putting this report together, and if you have any questions, he's here to answer those, or if there are highlights of the report that you'd like to mention, you can at this time.
I just always find it interesting that how much, even though it seems like it's used a lot, which it is, it's amazing how much time there is still open for the people that want to use it. Mm-hmm. And people think that Belmont, a lot of people have a perception that they're there a lot and there's not a lot of open times, but to the report, there's a whole lot of available times that we rent it out to other groups and to the community usage as well. So we've just been real happy with the partnership we've had with Belmont University and that facility up there. It's something, we don't have anything similar to it anywhere else, and we're thankful for the partnership we have with them. And they've always been great to work with. If you have any questions about anything in the report, feel free to.
All right, it's all yours.
All right, it's all mine. All right. Well, I just want to, first off, to echo Stan's comments and Jackie's, and I think Tim's too, as well, in acknowledging all of the events that we've had, ribbon cuttings and such, grand openings that we've had in the department. And I want to thank everybody in the department who has pitched in, usually folks behind the scene, from Jackie to our maintenance team, to our outdoor recreation team and community centers. Just everybody pulls together and helps us have a successful event. And I just want to thank everybody, because we don't do that every day. We do have stuff to do every day, and they incorporate and give precedent to our special events and make those happen. So I just wanted to thank everybody for making those successful, first off. Our summer enrichment program ended last Friday in the community centers. I think we served about 2,700 young people, and the after-school program, it starts today. It starts today with the start of Metro Nashville Public Schools. So as Steve said last week in our staff meeting, they got a breather and not a break, but so they're right back on it. I also just wanted to mention we had 2 employees that retired mid to late last month. Neither of them wanted any kind of special highlight or party, and I promised that I would honor their wishes, but I do want to acknowledge them. Faith Shepard, who was in John Holmes' division of revenue producing, she was here at Parks with us for 15 years, and then Cheryl Brown, who was also in that division, had 41 years with the department. And the Parks Department generally has employees who have a long-term years of service, and we're very grateful for that. But I did want to acknowledge those 2 employees, and I did speak with them before they left, and we did our goodbyes and hugs and tears, and I just wanted to thank them publicly for their service. And that's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? We need to get a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All right.
You do well with it.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.